What is up, traders? In today's video, we're going to take a look at EURUSD, the trade I took on that pair this morning. We're also going to engage the YouTube audience and look at a few assets. Also, I just want to say for any new beginner traders looking to make their way in these financial markets, or anybody who's been looking for a channel that gives actionable intel without any gimmicks, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell notification so that way you get notified when I upload these videos. And with all that said, let's dive in. What's up, traders? My name is Heath and this is Trade Talk. So in today's video, we're going to discuss this EURUSD trade that I took this morning, and also we're going to take a look at a couple stock tickers for USD, RIOT, and MARA, and we're also going to take a look at Square and TDOC ticker symbols for Kevin Williams, and finally we're going to look at USDINR for Mukesh Sharma. But first, we're going to dive into this pair here, EURUSD. So when I woke up this morning, we were on this candle here was being formed. Obviously, you can see this market structure taken from this last down closing candle's high, because I keep getting a lot of questions in the comment section asking me why sometimes the market structure levels are on top, why sometimes they're on the bottom. If price is above the market structure level that I'm looking at, being the last down close candle or the last up close candle, in this case it's the last down close candle. If price is above it, then you use the high or the open of the bearish candle. If price is below, and this is the last bullish candle, you would use the open of that bullish candle. So basically you're just using the top of the candle if we're determining which direction price is heading. All right. Now, essentially, this whole candle's body is a range per se. You can essentially just, if you wanted to, you could make a box around the whole candle and throw it forward in time if you want. It doesn't really matter too much about being on the top or the bottom, unless that candle's range from open to close is vast, like this candle here. All right. But on like a doji like this, the bottom or the top wouldn't really matter. But my rules say to use the top if price is above, use below if price is underneath. And you can see on this candle, we pushed right down into that and rejected. So let's go into a 5-minute chart, and I'll pull up what I was looking at when I was looking at it. All right, so this blue line delineates my entry, all right? And I'll go ahead and show you that real quick. All right, so the blue dotted line is my entry. I entered on this candle here, all right? And that was 1.22684. And my stop was just below the low of this down closing bearish candle. I know it's hard for you to see, guys. I apologize. I can't make the picture any bigger. So basically the stop was below 1.22657, okay? And I was targeting this white line, which was, well, it's not exactly right. There you go. Which was the high of yesterday, okay? That's what I was targeting. Now, basically, I have this pulled up because this delineates the exact position where I took the entry and where my stop loss was and my first take profit. And as you can see, this was a 9.43 to 1. This was a great trade, guys. I take these trades with 1% risk, so that means I made 9.43% on the first scale out. All right? So, well, not on the first scale out. I didn't make 9.43. I'm sorry, my math is shoddy. I made roughly around 8% on the first scale out. When I initially exited the trade with the last piece, essentially I was close to around 9% on the day, which is a great day. And considering I was already up 6% before the day even started, it just topped it off. So let's get rid of all this and let's dive into what I was looking at. So essentially, we had this sell-off, okay, and we pushed right into this market structure on an 8-hour time frame, and we traded around it for a pretty good amount of time. And then, boom, we traded away, and then boom, we made another leg higher. All right, so I was watching before I took the trade, this candle had already closed below the close of this bearish candle. If I put my marker on there, you can see that it did close below it. However, when I saw that, I immediately went into a 3-minute chart and found the last bearish down closing candle, and it is right here. So let me delineate this by throwing a line on the last bearish down closing candle on a 3-minute chart. And as you can see, price traded down into it and rejected. And then on the rejection, this candle closed higher than this candle here. So that told me there was a pretty good chance that price is wanting to retain the bullish uptrend that this thing has been doing. And also with that high of day yesterday acting as a nice target right here, that is also why I decided to get long. And I got long right here on this blue line. That delineates my long position. And as you can see, we traded up, almost took out my entry, or took out my exit, but we didn't. And on this push up, we did. Now, I did exit the whole trade up in this area here. I don't have the exact line drawn where I exited. The reason I exited it was because it's New Year's Day in 2 days. So price can move wildly when there's less liquidity in the markets, and there is less liquidity in the markets during the Christmas week and the New Year's week, because a lot of professional traders take those 2 weeks off and they go on vacation. So that makes liquidity thin, and with thin liquidity, these moves can be very sharp and aggressive. So I didn't want to be in the trade. I wasn't looking to hold on to a position for a swing trade like I will after this weekend. After this weekend, I'll re-implement my leave a piece on to see if it catches a trend, if it wants to be a trending move. So essentially, that's all I was looking at. It's basically the same exact thing that I was looking at on yesterday's EURNZD trade. All right. Also, I want to say about EURNZD, not to brag or boast, just to kind of give the new subscribers a little bit about what they can expect with this channel. On Sunday's weekly crypto or weekly Forex outlook, I basically said that this was a target right here, this low. Why this low? Because it was the lowest low, and since price made this low, it traded back away from it viciously, which indicates that there is a ton of liquidity underneath this low. All right? Why is there liquidity underneath this wick low? Because anybody that got long here put their stop loss right below it. So by default, they got long, but they also, by throwing a limit order stop loss as a sell order underneath this wick, that also makes them a willing seller at a lower price. Okay? So that's the whole reason behind why I target these areas for my scalp trades. Because the market, people that are in the market would love to buy low. So they need sellers that are willing to sell low, right? So if you took this long and have your stop here, that makes you a willing seller at a lower price. That makes you a target. Now, moving forward, I just wanted to basically show you that this low was the target for this week. All right. And you can see we took that out today. So here we have RIOT. RIOT is a blockchain, low cap, low float stock that follows Bitcoin. It doesn't necessarily track Bitcoin. Essentially what happens is people start to buy this thing when Bitcoin starts to move up. And Bitcoin's been on a nice run up, so it's normal to see RIOT doing the same thing. So your 8-hour structures are going to be, give me 2 seconds, guys, and let me get rid of that. I apologize. I have to turn on the after hours data to find hourly candles, basically to find market structures. So that's why it was on. It is very annoying. However, moving on, I have this market structure right here, and I don't remember. Oh yeah, I do remember. I got it from a daily chart from way back over here. I do not like using levels from way back because basically that ain't how the markets work. But they will find support and resistance at these areas because retail traders look for these support and resistance areas, and that's why price reacts to these areas. So right here you have this last down closing candle. That's where I drew that line from. The blue line indicates where price closed. The green line indicates where price is after hours. All right, so you can see it's absolutely fighting with this area here. So let's go back over to current price. So essentially, I got this white line off of an hourly structure, all right? And this is going to be your near-term price range unless we gap up above this area at 17.20, 1720. If you get a gap up above that, then look for a retest and hold of support at 1720. If you close an hourly candle below 1720, look for $16 even to come into play. And that is an hourly structure. I'll go turn this back on real quick just to show you what I'm talking about. All right, so I got it on this last down closing candle before the push up. That's all I did. That's it. So if price pushes down into here, you want to look for a support hold at $16. If you fail by closing an hour candle below $16, your next area to target is going to be 14.62. All right, Mara. On Mara, I apologize. That's so annoying. I'll fix that tonight so that way it's just a black screen. All right, so on Mara, I didn't make any market structure levels yet. So let's go ahead and do that. So obviously we got to use this candle because it was today's candle. That was a strong bearish close. All right. So essentially you're going to want to look for, if we clear this candle's close here, if we clear these lows in this line at 10.80, look for 9.26 to come into play. Will that hold support? I do not know. You have to look on an hourly time frame to make sure you don't close any hourly candles below. If you do, this is no longer going to be a valid trade. I mean, it still could work out to be a valid trade. However, my rules dictate if we close an hourly candle below my market structure support, then I am no longer looking at that trade. I have to wait until it does what I want it to do. However, if you gap up tomorrow and you come back down and you test 10.80 again and you hold that, your next area to look at is going to be today's open at 12.60, $12.60. You get an hourly closure above that, you're going to test 13.98 and then ultimately this high here, and that high is 14.64. All right, so here we go, square. I don't know what's going on here. Probably the hourly. Goodness gracious. Let's do this. Let's do this. There, that's much better, right? All right. Yeah, all right. So I just took it from this last, not last, obviously it was a down closing candle. I'm sure if because of this long wick here and then rejection, I know there is a smaller time frame, or this is an 8-hour chart, I apologize. I know there's a smaller time frame in there. Let's go down and see. Right here it is. See there? You got your last up closing candle before price traded away from it. So this area I would look for to come as resistance at 226.67. All right, that's going to be your first area to look for some resistance. You close an hourly candle above that, then you want to look for the next area, which is going to be up here at 232.03, and we'll go ahead and mark that out for you right there. Now, if you come back up here and you test this area and you fail and you roll back over, look for 216.42 to come back into play for another support test. All right? And if you fail there on an hourly closing basis, look for this low to come back into play at 288.54. TDOC. All right, so TDOC is trading in this range. Let's go to an hourly real quick. All right, yeah, it's trading in this range. This is going to be an area to watch. This is your last candle, so you can just watch this whole area. This whole area is going to act as some kind of support, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe price just cuts right through it. We don't know. But you can watch it to see if you're getting hourly closes above 199.04. If you are, look for 206.54 to come into play. You get an hourly closure above that. Ultimately, look for 212.92 to come into play. If you get a closure below 196.25, you're going lower, and I would say you're probably coming all the way down to 188.84. And finally, USDNIR. All right. So I have this level at 72.870. You can see it here that it is a market structure level, and it is also a daily market structure level. So this level is a valid target. All right. This thing is obviously trading down. If I pull it out and show you the trend, the near-term trend is down. Okay, the longer-term trend is up, but the near-term trend is down. Now, price could hold support here at 72.870. Price might not even make it here. I'm just saying, if it does, if price is going to continue lower, this would be an area that I would target at 72.870. So how would I trade this? Well, essentially right now you're in a range. There's not really a whole lot you can do. What you can do, however, is your first area, which the reason I didn't have it drawn on this chart already was because that area was already tested with this candle. So after, oh, that's not even right. There it is. That's close enough to count as a test. So you made this last closing or candle in a downtrend, price slammed through it, came down, retested that area, and closed bearish. So if you come back up here again and slice through it, this would be the next area to look for a resistance hold at 73.486, because it's an area that has not been tested by price. So price could push all the way up into here and test this area. As long as you're closing 8-hour candles below 73.486, my longer term target is going to be 72.870. But obviously, if you do get that rejection here and you do enter a short trade here, this is not financial advice. You trade at your own risk. This is just the ramblings of a madman. If you do close an 8-hour candle below and you take this trade, you will have trouble getting through this area here because it's the last close and open of price. So that will act as some kind of support. Will it stop price ultimately altogether in its tracks? I have no idea, man. I have no idea, but you can watch this level, and the first 8-hour closure you get below that, you're home free, I would assume, down to 72.870. So that's all I have for you guys tonight. I appreciate all the kind words and all the support that you guys have given me on these videos. Obviously, the channel just got started, and I'm very pleased with how it's going. And you guys are my friend, you're my community, and I'll answer any questions you have to the best of my ability. So throw them down in the comment section below. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will check you on the next one.